Ah,
Hey.
happy Wednesday, Zach.
Happy Wednesday to you, Mr. White. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. It's funny, January 2022, I think. We have a big storm on Saturday. This will be only class this week.
Yeah, we might have to. Do a lot of work today. We might have to get a lot of training volume in.
I think we should. I think we should really, give them, confound them, but surprise them and humble them and excite them all at the same time.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, no, I want to keep going with what we've been looking at. You know, basically looking at content that they've seen. I got a couple new ones, Musan and Danshi, which. Yeah, we won't get deep into those content because they're crazy complex. You know, we'll do like little stick figure drawings of them, and then have them basically, okay, here's a knife, here's a kusari, here's a humbo, and let them try to figure it out. And then I like, your suggestion always is like, well, then take it out and bring them back, then let them see if it's make their actual taijutsu better. That's my idea.
Yeah, I say let's go for it. These are a couple fun kata. We haven't had a chance to look at them since sometime last year, I don't think. So
I think we got a new guy in tonight too. So
this will be a blast.
Oh my god, that was so much fun. All right, let's go. All right, happy Wednesday, everybody. What's everybody doing tonight? So tonight, kind of continuing with the wrapping up of this weapons phase. Really kind of looking again at tying it all together, tying the taijutsu together with the use of weapons. We've done this for the last couple of weeks, looking at some kata. We're going to do it again today, but we're looking at different kata. Okay, we're going to be looking at Musan from Shinden Furuyu, dispersing fog, dispersing mist, and Danshi from Gyokoryu, bullet finger, okay, or bomb finger, because I don't know if they technically had bullets back then. So let's first start with Musan, and just for people who are, I guess, kata, enthusiasts and stuff like that, we are doing a stick drawing of this kata. We could look at Musan in itself, and we could do 2 days and go over just a lot of the idiosyncrasies of just this one kata. What we're doing is looking at it in kind of, like I said, it's kind of a stick figure, drawing of it. You'll recognize it, but we're not going to go over the idiosyncrasies of it and stuff like that, so please don't think that's happening. What we're doing is we're getting into it so we can then throw a weapon in there. All right, this is a weapons class, not a kata class, but we got to start with something. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's start with Musan. Shinden Furuyu Tanakata, dispersing fog. So the attack is a right action upper, like lunging uppercut to the gut. So like, boom, yeah, this kind of low shot to kind of knock somebody over. Starting in however she said as that comes in. All right, we're locking this, not capturing, not locking this. Throwing this Fudokan up to here to kind of stop. Here we're locking, hitting, passing under, and breaking that. Okay, from this side, comes in, up. Okay, pretty simple. All right, again, stick drawing, stick figure. There's a lot of stuff in here, but we're just looking at that stuff. Does that make sense? Everyone get it? Absolutely not. So again, as this comes in, I'm not just trying to grab that hand. All right, I will say that. We don't do that. That can't happen. As I see this coming in, I obviously move my shoulders here, and I just drop my hand beneath this as I back this up. All right. So I see that coming in. Drop right down there. As that's happening, this goes up to his throat. I'm not trying to blow away, I'm just trying to stop for right now. I pick his arm up, give him a little shot in the ribs, pass under, turn. Make sense? Great, let's start.
That'd be really great. I want to make sure that that when we're making action to try to get past them, that little blow to the ribs is I'm seeing a little bit of an anemic version going on here. So that first strike is coming in. We come out here, we've struck, and one of the things I'm seeing is that. And
that's a tickle, people. That's a tickle.
As we sink and step, boom, this happens together. I don't want to hit and then sink, or sink and then hit. Then it's just going to be arm, and you may not, that might not be enough to stop them from being able to respond. We want to really make them pay with our movements here, as opposed to gently tell them that we want to get past them. Questions?
So you don't need to also hit the arm up?
So you absolutely could be hitting the arm up. I might be leaving out that detail, so my apologies. But so here we are. Even if I'm hitting the arm up, it's not, then here it is. We're dropping and delivering a bit of strength as we go through. Similar note, if we're hitting the arm up, it's not this, right? Whole body, legs are a part of this too. Ooh, yeah. That's where we're trying to go here. I just want to make sure everyone is using their body as part of these strikes as well.
So I'll add in the arm hit. The arm hit action, again, we're not getting technical on this, but now we're getting technical. If my grip is like this here in Mr. LeVay, as I go through and I stay this, I don't really have a very powerful turn on him at all. I really have not. I'm grabbing onto his arm, his wrist. I mean, he's not going to let me turn on there without nailing me as I come through. It's just not going to happen. So if I'm grabbing like this and I hit, and as I turn, I'm going to flip my hand here. So now as I come through, this is now an Uragyaku, which now makes a different story for that next punch. His follow-up punch is now going to be pretty hard because he has to go against the torque of his wrist. He'd have to flip himself around to get to it. Okay? And we can turn
this action right here is increasing the torque on my own arm as I try to turn.
Right. If I was here, you could nail me. And so again, you could spend weekends on this and stuff like that. So you asked about the arm hit. Yes, you do the arm hit, but sometimes there's a very good reason to do the arm hit to get this, to set up for the turn. Okay? All right. Go. Okay, Mate. So again, stick drawing. Stick drawing. You could spend weekend just this one technique. There's so many aspects to it. So now, he seems to get a knife. Now here's the thing. I don't want you to do anything different than what you've been doing. I don't care. You're probably going to want to keep this in your right hand start. I want you to do literally all the same movements. I just want you to hold on to the knife. Just want you to have the knife in the hand. All right, the knife cuts him and cuts him. I don't want you to purposely change anything you're doing because of said knife. Make sense? You're just holding something. That's all it is. All right, the taijutsu is there. You get the taijutsu, do the technique. The knife is just in your hand. That's it. All right, go.
Mate, I'm going to try to switch around to explore your body strength, if I may. No need for a knife here. So we start off the kata, we've got you here, we've been looking good, we get through this point, and one of the things that I'll see is I'll see folks underutilizing the hip toward the latter end of this movement, which kind of looks like this. Like so. Where you can kind of see I'm almost, if we were to rotate to the camera, you can almost see that my belt and chest are kind of square on with this guy. And what happens is you can see Adam is fairly well balanced, as opposed to, what if as we rotated through, this hip came back and we took that angle just a little bit more. We're projecting a bit more of this hip inside forward. This hip inside is coming back a little bit, but how much more weight is on your front foot, or your foot close to me?
I would say most of it is a 90-10.
Yeah, versus that one.
No, 50-50.
The difference was my hip being here, or my hip being here. And we all can see that, right? Same goes with the knife, too. Have fun.
Okay, Mate. So the knife makes sense, right? The knife on this one makes sense. Cut, 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 cut. Right? You don't really have to do a lot different with this, because the knife just seems to fit right in where the hits would have been. Well, let's make it a little more difficult. Down the knife, get a hanbo. Again, don't care where you hold it. I'm going to suggest to start right hand. Okay? And again, don't do anything different. Just move to the technique with this in your hand. Let's show it where it appears. And then with this one, we'll actually be able to see some potential adjustments that we can make because of the extra length and because of the extra angle. Okay? All right, down the knife, get a hanbo.
Oh, no, that's great. This is such a fun one. So right now we're working on this sort of wrist crush version where you have the wrist grab, you have the hanbo in your thumb, you haven't dropped it, thank God. One of the things I see is I see people start the rest of the technique and come in too late with the actual crushing contact. It kind of looks like this, where they're working through, and then you can feel you're not crushed. And then now they're starting to decide to crush. I bet you'll drop the hanbo if you do that. I bet you will. You probably won't secure it through the loop. I want to crush this early. I want to get this contact on. Yeah, there it is. Yep, now he's paying for this, and you're getting everyone's like, poor kid was like, gentle. It's incredibly painful, and it's painful enough that you can secure it a little bit earlier to get by on this. If you don't secure it early, just a high chance you're going to lose the humbo as part of your movement. Just things are going to get wild. And I want to crush them now.
Wow, we're crazy.
Cool, crush them now. Have fun. Be a little bit tricky because here we are. We're working from this position. And what happens is you can't tie this back across the arm yourself, right? I try to do this, and what happens is I kind of run across his arm. This has been the situation I've been seeing a lot of folks get caught in, which, you know, not terrible, but if you really want to escape, if you want to try to pull up, yeah, it kind of has this little spiral effect. What if instead of trying to tie things with your right hand, what if your left hand and your movement and your positioning does some tying for you? I'm just going to throw that out as a hint and see how you guys do with that. Have fun.
Okay, Mate. So the reason I picked this one and these three weapons was because once you get the stick drawing of the kata, it's pretty easy. You know, it's not the most difficult thing in the world when you're looking at it from just a very high level. The knife fits in there perfect. And he's like, oh yes. I mean, you don't really have to change much. The hambo, okay, I can make it work. I can get some hits in there. The kusari almost doesn't fit. And that was the reason we wanted to look at this one, because sometimes you don't have to use a weapon. You may be holding it, but if it's going to ruin your taijutsu, if you're going to have to bastardize everything you're doing just to use the weapon, then don't use the weapon. All right? You always just take them down and flail them later. You don't, just because you have it in your hand doesn't mean you have to use it. Right? I used the analogy last week. Like, just because you have a free coffee at Dunkin' doesn't mean you have to get a free coffee that day. You can pay for the coffee and save it for another day. All right? To me, that makes perfect sense. Probably doesn't to anybody else.
That's about the most main example.
Exactly, all right? And that's what I want you guys to experience. Like, oh, how can I use this? The thing is, you probably shouldn't. Just because of the way that you're going on here, it really doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense to. Doesn't mean that the weapon isn't useful in this time. In that situation, you know what? The taijutsu is actually better. That's what I wanted you guys to experience. I wanted, oh, this makes perfect sense. Like, oh yeah, I can see this. Like, what in the shit do I do with this thing? All right? And that's what's slowing you down, and that was kind of the point. It's just they understand that sometimes the weapon, just because you have it, you don't have to use it. Make sense? Okay. Any questions about that? Any observations about Musan and the use of the weapons? Okay, so let's move on to our next one. Put the weapons down. We're going to look at Danshi, bomb finger from Gyokuryu. Wow, that's kind of already. So again, stick figure, grab. So let me grab and punch. Whack, right there. As that's coming down, boom, boom. That's a stick figure as you can get right there. It's basically, it's a kind of a 1-2 hit with a 1, 2. All right. So as he grabs, I'm moving off, so I'm covering this, hitting, and as I hit this, I immediately turn into this Toshiken into the pep. As I'm opening him up with this. So I have two things going. I have a multi, and I have this hit. I kick the leg. We go out so you can see. Slow. Go out right there. 1, 2, 3. And down. Angle. Now it can be a hit, it can be a block. But 1, 2. And down. That's the stick figure version of Danshi. Alright, now we use Danshi, which is bomb hand, which is bomb finger. Okay? We all see it? Alright, let's start working on that and we'll throw some weapons in.
One thing, I want everyone to grab a focus mitt really fast. I just want you guys to grab a focus mitt, one for group. Because I want to talk about how these two strikes are kind of working in in terms of your positioning. One of the things I'm seeing is, imagine this pad is where I'm hitting on. I'm seeing a lot of folks get here and then try to hit with this behind them. And it's a lot like, if you let go of this with just very much, trying to throw across like this, where I'm kind of hitting that thing behind me. I don't really have a lot of power and alignment working for me, and as a result, any resistance is going to break my structure. So if we drop the pad for just a second, one, this is in front of me. Two, here we are. This is in front of me. Eventually, it gets a little bit behind us, but I don't want to be trying to push on this and just step through. This doesn't really do much. The strike happens here. Now we're looking pretty good. So, with the focus mitt, we're going to stand here, just kind of like how we move off on our first movement, and just practice a few easy, almost kind of like body only sort of left hooks to hit that. Yeah, cheers. It's sort of what happens, as opposed to this, which is the big difference. Yeah, just for like 30 seconds, guys. Just keep practice shots.
All right, Mate. Get a knife. Throw a knife in there. All right. Again, just hold it. Just hold it. It's not a knife do what you want to do. All right. Just knife do it. Go.
I've actually kind of seen it a little bit with everybody. Is we talk about bullet finger, right? And there's a tendency for folks to think long, kind of big, wide, long things, and it's not really that. It's more of a pop, pop, and a bit more of a rapid kind of thing that your positioning allows you to do. And one of the things that I really saw from Kyle that I really liked was that Hambo stopped and then hit right here, and it was beautiful. Interestingly, I saw some folks sometimes like sticking the knife like way up and like trying to push with the knife as opposed to just cut, stab. And now this guy's too fun to bring that shoulder back to the game. I would love if we get 2 minutes before the end to go back to unarmed. With that in mind.
Just to see how the weapons have made the taijutsu better. I totally agree. All right. All right, let's go. So, first class? Or is it first class with me? Yeah. All right, you were here Monday? Class, yeah. All right, well, first class with me. Did you get a belt on Monday? Well, shit, you're getting one now then. All right, so I had to make you bring 2 classes to get it then. All right. But this is an important belt. You know, we understand, we recognize the fact that you had to change your Wednesday night, give up a couple hours, drive into a place where you knew nobody here. You know, God knows what we could actually be like, front for some type of whatever.
It's the Colombians, really. It's the Colombians.
The Colombians, you had no idea what you're walking into, hoping for the best. You didn't know, so you took a little leap of faith. And we recognize that, we appreciate that, very much so. So we kind of make this delta a little bit of a big deal because we want to appreciate your efforts you've gone through. And you look great, man. You look great. I think everyone had a chance to work your arm tonight. Did awesome. Did really awesome. You can definitely see your prior stuff kind of, coming out and stuff like that. And which is great. It was really awesome. And so you're gonna put your arms up. All right, but good job, man. Good job. Nice to have you. Nice to have you. I don't know if anybody will be able to hear this because it's playing, but so I know we didn't get a chance to get to Kasari on Danshi, but I honestly think we probably would have kind of seen the same thing that we did from Musan, and that's kind of the reason I picked these two. Was the ability to go from, oh my god, this weapon makes perfect sense, to, yeah, I can use this weapon to, what the hell do I do? And to recognize that, okay, that's almost the taijutsu just better. It doesn't mean you couldn't modify it, but the point wasn't to modify it. The point was to actually see you guys teaching taijutsu constantly. And what Mr. LeBay wanted to point out was that in the using the weapons actually make your tight sit-to better. You know, one of the angles is something you have to see with the weapons that you didn't necessarily see on arm the first time, or nuances that when you put them back in, worked. Right, Lana? Good girl. All right, any thoughts, questions, concerns? And that's actually kind of part of that kata in and of itself, is that you have your body doing two very different things at the same time. And it's very easy to get caught up with bash. So it's very easy to get caught up with, well, can you actually do kind of an overt defensive, offensive thing at the same time you're doing an overt offensive thing at the same time? One's moving this way, the other one's moving this way. So even though it's a very simple kata, your body's doing a lot of different things. And so I'm glad you recognize that, because that's actually kind of one of the learning points of that kata, to be able to see, okay, I can't just concentrate on this, I can't concentrate on this, I gotta see the full picture at once, which is hard to do. Definitely.
It's the levels thing too. When I'm high, you're working down low, and I noticed there's a lot of fun investment positioning on it, but it can really screw you up.
Oh, totally, and then just the ability to move, get the right angle, get the position, get that emotion, and then both these katas we can go on and on and on, because I think we saw that there was opportunities to counter in those katas. What if the guy didn't work and he stepped back? You know, what if as I went on that Musan, he maybe just slipped out of it? I mean, that's what I said, we go on and on and on for days, because there's some pretty, you know, obvious counters where, okay, then we can go do this, and we do this, and we do this. But again, this was stick figure drawings of the kata to be able to look at weapon usage. I just want to make sure everybody really knows that this was not a kata class, because there would have been a lot of other stuff that we could have done and addressed.
Hey guys, had a lot of fun. I really did enjoy seeing the progression on Danchu, because that was when at the beginning I was like, ooh, maybe there should be a kata class on Danchu, but and then like literally, as soon as you guys started like stabbing people in the shoulder, it's like, oh, that's kind of what this does. Yeah. And that really transitioned back to everybody's kind of open-handed, sort of bare-handed ability, and it really, I think, was a great way to show the idea of that phase of the kata. That changed everything for a lot of you guys. So it was really awesome to see. Good work.
And that's a good general mantra for life. Stabbing people in the shoulder changes a lot of the outcome of any situation that you're in. Yeah. So at work, whatever you want to do.
I spend so many more hours every week in court.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah. It's like how. Well, guys, good job. Nice work. Nice to finally meet you. All right, guys, good work. So Saturday, I'll put out on Facebook. I'll try to do it by like 9. Okay, 8 or 9 hour. If you have any questions, you know, shoot me a text on the dojo number. Chances are, I think it's supposed to start on like 7 or 8 and not really get heavy until later. It's the entire day and night, yeah. So I got to factor that in, because I don't want us to come in here with 1 inch of snow and then leave in 6. And so more than likely, if it's what they say it's going to be, we probably won't have class. But if it's changed and it gets pushed later in the day, we will, and you can spend the rest of the day getting snowed in.
So black belt class Saturday, 8:30 to 9:30 till.
That one's, I'll make the same decision on that. So I'll make a decision on that earlier. So I'll put everything out. I guess I'll have to put everything out earlier. So, so yeah, I'll try my best to maybe do it the night before, you know, just so everyone knows. But yeah, because it's going to be. But any questions, you can also send me a text too. So yeah, damn Maine winters, indeed. All right, okay, guys, have a great evening. Yes, Lana, good job.